something we saw from LeBron yesterday, which we've never seen before. Look, people who are pro-LeBron, like the guy who usually occupies this chair, like to use smart arguments that show you the greatness of LeBron James, right? The statistical dominance, the 15 years of excellence. Part of that is helped by the fact that he didn't go to college, so he's been playing consecutively. He didn't retire for a year and a half the way that Michael Jordan did. Like, we create arguments of, hey, we've never seen this sort of, like, look, when Jordan had a full season with the team, 6 consecutive years, he won an NBA title. There was the year and a half off. He did come back. They did lose to the Orlando Magic. That all did happen. But we can create this, hey, level of dominance we've never seen before, which is true because of the longevity of it, but also because he was really the second or third incarnation of guys that came straight out of high school and have played consecutively in the NBA and played in the same conference, dominated that same conference. But what I've always said, I'm in the middle. Like, I think LeBron's incredible. I'm still not willing to say he's the greatest player I've ever seen. You can use the stats to help you. I would point out that every stat for NBA players is up because of more three-point shots, more possessions, an emptier lane. We've created a more offensive game, just like in the NFL. Heck, we're going to have a 5,000-yard passer and 10, 11, or 12 other 4,000-yard passers. Why? Because people who run sports leagues have figured out that we as Americans want to see more scoring. So stats are up. So if you want to use stats to help your argument, that's great. But those of us who understand, if there was a control group, everyone's stats are going up. But what we've seen from LeBron, I've said this sitting on this couch. I've said it back when Colin first was launching shows here, even back to his old shows, is the amazing part about LeBron is he's never been hurt. He's never been hurt. He's taken games off, but he's never really been hurt. Like Kobe, 5 knee surgeries. Kobe had to go and get the cells spun in Europe. Kobe had the Achilles tendon. Kobe got banged up. Michael Jordan in his second year had the foot injury. Right? So even though he came back and dropped 63 on the Celtics in the playoffs, taking a below 500 team into Boston Garden, one of the most heroic performances we've ever seen, the fact is he did miss most of a season because of injury. LeBron's never been hurt. And yesterday he, by his own words, felt a pop, said it's not that big a deal, and pulled his groin. And in the litany of possible bad injuries, this one is at the very bottom in terms of scare factor on the scale, right? It's not a knee, it's not a back, it's not a hip, it's not an Achilles. Though it is soft tissue, it doesn't seem to be one of those. It's not like he tore the groin off the bone, right? This is not something that's going to be a debilitating injury. But if you've ever owned a really well-made car, and I've owned several, my wife had a luxury brand SUV, and I'm telling you, we've owned a lot of automobiles. I mean, a lot. I go through them a lot. I chew them up. I drive a lot, and I don't do the greatest job of taking care of them. But it was one of those deals where we bought it. We knew it was well made. We got the extended warranty on everything and the extended warranty on the drivetrain. And the extended warranty went to 80,000 miles. You know, they say like bumper to bumper with a couple exceptions. Those exceptions were covered up to 80,000 miles. And once you know it, once we got to 82,000 miles, remarkably, something happened with a hose. Well, the hose gets fixed, and then it was the transmission, and then something with the drivetrain, and it began the, wait a second, we went from having the best made car where all the door seals were perfect, the entertainment, there was no rattles, like in anything, there's nothing worse than you buy a car and all of a sudden you hear a rattle. It's like a rattle in a car is like a cricket in a house. You can't find it, you can't fix it, you can't kill it, and once it's there, it just feels like it's there. There's no rattles. It was the fit and finish of this car was perfect, but it got to 82,000 miles, and now all of a sudden there's something wrong. 85,000 miles, the transmission. 92,000 miles, and the drivetrain had problems. And look, the car company was nice enough to fix it, and it was still fine. But this is the car that lugs around my 3 kids and my wife, and the last thing you want to do is she's driving to go ski or driving to go to soccer or basketball game and stuck on the side of the road like, on to the next. Well, you can't do that, obviously, with human beings. We're not going to throw LeBron James onto the next. We're not going to trade him in. But when you sign a guy in his mid-30s that has played more minutes more games than anybody in the sport since his rookie year. This is the biggest fear that anyone who signs a more than 1 year contract with any superstar in his mid-30s could ever have. Forget the fact that he's already taking more plays off. Forget the fact that he doesn't move nearly the way he used to move. LeBron James has become a different version of himself. He still essentially plays point guard, but he's shooting a lot more jump shots. He has that kind of weird dribble right, step back to his left shot. He's developed a little bit more of a post game. He still is explosive going downhill, but he's not the lithe that he was earlier in his career. But now all of a sudden you pop a groin. All right, you're out a week, you're out 2 weeks. The fear is not the groin. The fear is the groin leads to the hamstring, leads to the calf, leads to the back, leads to the knee. Right? This is what happens when you get older. It just is. You wake up and you're like, what hurts? It all hurts, and I don't know why. I didn't do anything. All I did was eat Christmas dinner last night and throw the football with my nephew, and now my shoulder's killing me like I got a rotator cuff. I got to call Dr. James Andrews. We've never seen this before. This dude never gets hurt. It's crazy. Now, is it helped by the fact that he's bigger and stronger? Sure, but it could be hurt by that. Because instead of delivering the punishment, because he's 6'8", 6'9", 260 pounds, now all of a sudden he's delivering the punishment to his own body. It's why he wanted to be lighter this year, because he knows you put all that stress. I tell people all the time who are former basketball players, like, man, I got to get back in shape. I want to get back to playing. I was like, look, before you get back to playing, you need to get at or below your playing weight, because 5 pounds more on your body when you're 5 years or 10 years older than when you were playing, and your body does not respond the same. Look, I think the Lakers' plan is clearly working. I mean, are they going to shoot as well as they shot last night? No. Are the Warriors screwed up, and is their bench aged right before our eyes? Like, people haven't paid attention that Sean Livingston's essentially washed, and Andre Iguodala doesn't move nearly the way he used to, and they're playing with Kayvon Looney, who's a backup center, as their starter because they're waiting for DeMarcus Cousins. And, oh, yeah, by the way, no one's mentioning that Draymond Green, no one's guarding him. It's 4-on-5 on offense, and he's not nearly as effective defensively as he used to be. And Klay Thompson went Casper, the friendly ghost, and disappeared. Like, these are all – look, the Lakers' plan is working. They wanted competitive veteran dudes who weren't scared of going in to Golden State. And using Zubac, using a true big guy against the Warriors late last night was genius. Brilliant. But as much as this plan of the younger players shooting at a higher percentage because of age and experience in the league and the emergence of Kyle Kuzma is right before our eyes, as much as the plan of let's get some competitive dudes that aren't scared of any situation, you play them 5, you play them 45 minutes, they're going to be fine. That's where it only comes together if LeBron's on the floor when it matters. And the biggest fear that anyone who's reasonable has is by the time the Lakers get to where they can compete for a title, he's too banged up to do it. It's what happens to all of them. It's what happens to all of them. Like, Jason Kidd went from an all-star to he couldn't make a layup in the playoffs. Couldn't make a layup, couldn't make a shot. Now, I'm not saying that's where we are with LeBron. Not close. There's a different scale. LeBron's an all-time great, and this is the first, but you pop a groin and you hold your breath because you wonder whether or not this is just a leaky hose that can be fixed and the drivetrain and transmission's all good, or this is, hey, once you hit 80,000 miles on any car, they're going to start to break down. A lot of tread off those tires.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.